And we live. Welcome back to Kingdom Cast. It's your host, Dynasty Champ Chuck. We back at it with another episode of the post game. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share on your social media platforms. It's just me and my guy D-Mac on the right for now. Country may pop in here for a little bit. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's us too. So the Chiefs, for the ninth straight season, have won an AFC West Division title. They did it in dramatic fashion. Of course, with the Chiefs, man, they so used to just dramatics. It's crazy. Literally beat the Chargers this time. It's literally the same score, 19-17, just like they beat the Raiders 19-17 the week before, which is nuts. Um, yeah, once again, just besides the same score and everything, it kind of looked like the same old script, man. Like, came out the gate looking like we was gonna try to establish the run a little bit. Pacheco had a few, like 3 or 4 touches, I believe, the first drive, and then all of a sudden we get being pass happy, and it's a mess. But before we get to all that, man, D-Mac, I mean, how you feeling, man? AFC West champs again for the ninth straight year.
Happy to be, man. It's kind of crazy to think about this run that we've now been on these last few years. It's really insane, honestly. But they put out a video kind of about Andy Reid in the locker room after each one of these division clinching victories or whatever. It is kind of progressively less exciting for these guys. But that's kind of the symptom of the winning that has been tradition now in Kansas City. It's not only just the successes that you've had within the division, owning Chargers, Broncos, Raiders over these last few years, but how that dominance now has extended, outside the division, and how this is just always the first step on the rest of the journey for the Chiefs now, and not simply just the thing that you always, for lack of a better term, hang your hat on. So awesome. Always fun to celebrate a division championship. And look, it's not something to be taken for granted. But like I said, it is the first step on what this incredible journey hopefully will continue to be for this team to achieve something special.
Yeah, and that video was funny. I did see that like an hour ago before we went live, and they progressively just like, okay, we're so used to this now. It's not as exciting. We're on to bigger and better things. You want to keep winning Super Bowls or being AFC champions in general. So, yes, it is a Mizzou hat, man. So I wear my Mizzou gear today because we did something for the first time that hasn't been done since 1997. Beat the number one ranked team on your home court and it's your rival. So I know it's Victory Monday here in Chiefs Kingdom, but I had to rock the Mizzou gear today. So
Big old MIZ, baby.
ZOU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to Dennis Gay. Shout out to Mark Mitchell, KC kid, Tamar Bates, another Kansas City kid. So yeah, I know you want to shout out your St. Louis kids, D Mac, but
Yeah,
try to
absolutely.
get that out the way. So
Look, man, I'm so proud of them. It was a lot of fun, especially to make fun of the KU fans. So I enjoyed it. It was so fun.
been a long time coming.
Absolutely.
Go Buckeyes, man. Look, I mean, I don't want to bring up last year and all, but
Yeah. I hope you ain't rooting for Ryan Day anymore, DJ. God bless.
but yeah, man, let's go and get to it, man. 1917 victory. The start of the game, man, as we mentioned, it looked like Isaiah Pacheco was about to get some more work in this week. He did end up getting a little more work in, as it turned out. But after that, man, got to a little pass happy moment. It ended up being a field goal, whatever. So, like, what did you think about the opening drive, D Mac? Even though it ended up in a field goal, with DJ Humphries being out there, just the left tackle and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get a little bit of
Okay, members.
hey, what's up, man? A a read on kind of how DJ was playing, how he was handling left tackle position. It looked like he was kind of moving fine to start out from that standpoint. Really, I thought the drive was a solid opening script. They were kind of getting some chunk plays, being able to stay efficient ahead of the sticks on a consistent basis. Obviously, like the pass to Travis Kelce was kind of the first one. They had that short little kind of dig route to Xavier Worthy on the outside too, and that was nice. It was just unfortunate they got the wheel route, which was a nice, kind of in structure play. Travis Kelce just couldn't get to it. That's one of those things. Hey, Travis Kelce loses a slight step. That's where it necessarily shows up being a separate from a linebacker down the field. And then this, unfortunately, is where the injuries that the Chiefs have suffered, particularly in the tight end room, shows up. Baylor Cupp drops the ball on second down. That can probably get you into a manageable 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 type of scenario. Instead, It's a 3rd and 10, and Mahomes ends up getting sacked. So it's one of those things where it's close, it's a tick off, but because of the nature of the Chiefs offense not necessarily creating all of these explosive plays, it also makes it so that you have to kind of be perfect a lot on these early downs and put you in position to be able to convert those 3rd downs. And didn't happen in that first play. Had to settle for the field goal, which was a little disappointing. It reminded me of kind of the Bengals AFC Championship game in 2022, where it felt like there were some early opportunities that the team missed by a little bit, that they should have put touchdowns on the board, and it still was field goals. And so even though you get to like the end of the halftime drive and it's 13-0 and you score that touchdown, even before that 6-0, for the majority of the first half, you're like, man, we should be up more, because the defense was doing its job early on and they hadn't necessarily been able to take full advantage of that on offense.
Man, it sucks, man, because before the game I said, look, we should at least put up 27. We don't get 27. It's going to be a massive disappointment. And it ended up being a massive disappointment. But, first drive I did like what I see from DJ Humphries. He held up pretty well. I think it was tracked. It said at the end of the game he ended up with giving up just 4 pressures. But unfortunately, he pulled a hamstring. Like, we barely even got the dude. Dude just got here. We just got more injuries to deal with. Like, it's really amazing how we're 12-1 and we've been going through so many hurdles with the injuries. Like, y'all can't be talking crap on Brett Beach this year for sure. Like, all that should be done with by now, because he has tried to do everything possible to plug in the holes or just glue things back together by bringing in new bodies or like replacements that can do the job decent enough to replace what we lost. So
yeah, I mean, look, DJ Humphries. I mean, obviously we don't know what exactly is the nature of his injury. Like they didn't necessarily say. Andy Reid even kind of like somewhat alluded to it. He said he was feeling better and that he was getting an MRI on his hamstring. It looked like he kind of pulled up and did, go to his knee and was grabbing his hamstring as far as going onto the bench. But he also was kind of just sitting there, not doing much, not getting a lot of treatment. So I was like, is it a cramp? Did he just run out of gas? It could be a combination of all 3 of the things. I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully he's all right, because I thought that he did a solid job for the majority of the day, especially being thrown in there cold. What's up, country?
What's up, folks?
So I wasn't upset with his performance. I think that he did as well as you probably could have asked, given the circumstances from that standpoint. But it's just like, all right, well, hopefully. But to your point, Chuck, all the injuries that we've suffered, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, cornerback 2, tight end 3, 4, 5 at this point. Running back 1. Yeah, like it's crazy. It's insane at this point. A kicker, which we saw obviously on the last play of the game. You've had to deal with all these things and you're still only 1-loss team. And a lot of people would be like, well, it's the worst point differential ever. It's the worst DVOA ever of any 12-1 team. Well, I'd rather be the worst 12-1 team than the best 8-5 team, which I guess the Ravens are. So that's just how I look at it.
They're just lucky. They're just lucky, D-Mac. Just luck.
Yeah, it's luck to go ahead and have, all that final drive that you had to get in position because you're on your 3rd string kicker from the XFL or wherever Wright came from. Because you have to get as close as possible, and that's exactly what the team does. The team does exactly what it needs to do every single week to win. And it's not going to do more than that. It's not going to, but it's going to do exactly what it needs to do to win. That's the line of demarcation.
Man, I was just on Beach Season. Shout out to Foolish Club Media. Shout out to Rocky and Kramer and Serta, all those guys over there. I said, I think the Chiefs just do enough to win. If you score 14, we're going to give you 17. I'm not putting up 30. I don't need to. I'm just going to give you just enough. If you put up 17, I'm going to give you 19. I'm not going above and beyond. I'm just going to, it's like I compared it to a guy that goes to work. He's not late. He's not warming up fish in the microwave. He's not sleeping with his coworkers. He's just a great coworker. He comes, he does his job. He sits at his desk. He doesn't take long lunches. He doesn't get off early. He doesn't cheat the clock. But he's not going to do the special project. He's just going to do what he came to do, what you pay him to do. If I'm a cashier, I'm just going to cashier. I'm not going to be a janitor too. And I think that's what the Chiefs are. they just do their job. They just do enough just to get by. And I don't want to cause any attention. I don't want to cause no chaos. I just want to come in, do my 8 hours, and then I'm gone. And that's exactly what they do. I think they treat the regular season like that.
So we're a bunch of Talib Kweli's just to get by, just to get by, just to get by. We that type of team.
Thank you for. I feel like I was drowning there, so thank you for saying that. Yeah, pretty much. So, but they just do enough to get by. They're not bad, and they just fly under the radar. It's like, hey, Johnny, and it's like, Johnny, yeah, the dude that says, oh, John, yeah, nobody knows him. Nobody knows nothing about Johnny. He's just there every day, and he just does his job and leaves. He doesn't participate in the potlucks. He doesn't care about that. He just wants to win, and then he leaves. That's what the Chiefs are. They just want to get through this regular season.
Which is completely understandable. And I know people talk about kind of, this history of stuff, like I talked about, point difference, et cetera, et cetera. When you're talking about a team that has played more games than anything, and we did, I assume we're talking about DJ Humphries. Yeah, we did talk about DJ Humphries. I assume so. I could be wrong. I'm not thinking about it. Somebody else play their first game for the Chiefs last night? Oh, repeat. Look at him. He played us all. He had some returns.
Hey, DJ, chill, bro.
We didn't ask for much from Nico, though. He did enough.
I thought he actually had some nice returns, some juice. I
thought he was tripping on that first one, though. Bro, what are you doing?
It was a little, yeah. But no, I think that he's going to serve well as far as the returns are concerned in place of Mikkel. As long as we don't need him to play wide receiver, I don't know what's going to happen if he plays wide receiver. But no, they're just going to go out there. This team has played more games than anybody over whatever period of time that you want to. They have gone through it. They understand what's needed to win the games, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They need to go out there, win these games, win the division, which they now have. They still want to get the 1 seed, which was made a little bit easier because the Bills lost. And whatever is necessary for them to be in the best possible position for the divisional round, if they have that 1 seed, then that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're not going to do any more than that as well.
Shout out to the Rams. Salute.
Yes, thank you, Rams. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Matthew Stafford.
For all of
and I told CJ they was gonna win that game. So I said, bro, the Rams got it. Just watch.
I didn't think that they would be able to pull it off, but I got to tip my cap to them. And for all of my ball watchers, yes, I was a Rams fan for a day. So there you go. I think I want to ask you guys. You guys watched the broadcast.
I swear to God, I just put 2 and 2 together with you. You were right. The whole time he's been a Rams fan, guys.
There you go, guys. There you go. You guys won. For you guys that were watching the broadcast, though, was Collinsworth really on Jawan Taylor again? Because I obviously.
He pointed out 2 different occasions.
No, all game. Look, well, he's rocking. Look at him on his leg. He's getting an early get off. I guess they're not going to call that. He was tripping last night, bro. He was on some nonsense last night. No, D-Mac, this is the part. Before Matthew Wright kicked, he was like, well, he hasn't been here long. Winchester might mess up the snap. I don't know about kicking on 3rd down. I would probably wait. I don't know, just in case they mess up the snap. And oh God, like he's never been in this position before. Like he wanted them to miss. It was Chris Collinsworth.
He's a big.
I've never really had a problem with him, but last night was extra, bro. He wanted the Chiefs to lose last night. I'm glad we won.
I've always found him to be annoying, and I don't particularly like Mike Tirico either. But I will give credit to Tirico because I thought Doinked for the division was a nice little line.
Not that talented.
I don't know. That's the darkest Italian I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if Jawan.
He's Cuban.
Same thing all day. I thought that he did the same thing he always does. Joe Alt was getting an early start too, the same way that all tackles in National Football
Never mention it.
a lot of tackles in National Football League take advantage of that rule. So, if Chris Collinsworth was doing that, good on him. I guess we wanted to talk about it, but he's a Bengals guy. He always going to be a Cincinnati guy, and that's just a reality situation.
He's also the type of guy that you want calling a game because you want to win while he's calling the game just to make him feel like a jerk.
But yeah, that's how we felt about Troy Aikman for a while.
Yeah. As long as we win, I don't care what he said. But he was extra last night.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the defense, man. First half shutout. It was up 13-0. But there are some concerns, man. I want to talk about the safety play, man, because we gotta be honest here. Brian Cook, he ain't looked like the same guy come out of injury, man. I mean, it's a difference in comparison to before he got hurt last year. He ain't got that quickness that I'm used to seeing. Like he not really like after his back pedal, he not really been able to get caught up to speed as far as like tracking the ball and everything. We know about Justin Reed and his struggles. I mean, mainly to the tight ends. The tight end once again got their numbers off, and it wasn't even Will Disley because Disley got hurt. It was the backup tight end. Last name.
Who is Stone Smart? Where did he come from?
Where the heck they did? Who the hell is that?
Who the hell is that? We did a whole 7-hour draft show. I don't. Who the hell is Stone Smart?
We didn't talk about
D-Mac. Who is Stone Smart, bro?
We did not talk about him the entire time.
Nobody's talking about him
at all whatsoever.
It's just crazy.
Would you even know?
Collinsworth also glazed him up too. He glazed him up a lot last night too.
I'm sure he did. Did you also know that he spells smart with 2 T's?
Yeah. No, D-Mac. He compared him to Isaiah Likely last night.
Oh, okay. Well, that should be unfortunate given our safeties are making tight ends look like Isaiah Likely.
But hold on a second, D-Mac, before you go.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Is it because
because
he was here in week 1 and he was commentating when we played the Ravens? I mean, is that why Isaiah Likely first came to his mind? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What made him look like Isaiah Likely? He caught 2 balls.
Yeah, 2 big plays. I mean, good for him, but nah. But anyhow, D-Mac, go to your point, man. My bad.
No, as far as the defense is concerned, I think it's unfortunately it's outside of what you have in the issue with pass rush, which Josh Uche being inactive, insanity as far as I'm concerned. You have, in my opinion, 2 safeties, 2 capable athletic safeties that you're playing at cornerback that probably are better right now if you put them at safety than the 2 guys you have starting. And that's, I know I have my thing with Justin Reed, but the limitations on his game are significant. They're just too much space on the back end for quarterbacks, especially really good ones like Justin Herbert, to take advantage of because Justin Herbert can place the ball wherever he wants to. It's too much space for offensive play callers to design plays to get guys open into said space. Brian Cook and Justin Reed on the back end can't cover that space. Shamari Connor's athletic enough to, when he has everything in front of him, he doesn't have to play a true free safety, but when he's a split safety and you can play things in front of him, he has that athletic range to do so. We've seen it versus Josh Allen. Najee Johnson, he has the ability, especially in zone coverage, to do so when everything is in front of him and he's playing from a split safety position. So they now have that guy that's playing that corner, which, again, injuries are injuries. They have Shamari Connor, who they tried to retrofit into the slot cornerback role. Hasn't worked out. He is food versus any wide receiver. That's just the reality situation. They can't have him in the slot versus any wide receiver. And they're lucky they didn't have Lad McConkey because in the first game you cooked him. And obviously they were out in this one. But they just put Joshua Palmer in the slot and he cooked instead.
Can you say that we were kind of fortunate last night that Lad McConkey didn't play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we say that?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, and I know Kay Adams tweeted about it. Yeah, what's the score look like if Hollywood Brown, Rasheed Rice, Jalen Watson, and Harrison Butker play? So
right.
But no, you absolutely were fortunate as far as our defense is concerned, and we still were, and I know 17 points doesn't look like a high point total, but this team is still it's 17th in EPA per play, which I know is people will be like, well, EPA per play. But that at least is an efficiency stat, and that tells you this team is middle of the pack as far as the defense is concerned. And that's after being really good to start the year, which tells you how bad they've been since Jalen Watson went down. So, yeah, you've got a safety problem when you have two guys that are unathletic back there that are allowing too much space. You got a slot corner that can't play corner. You got another safety that's trying to play outside corner, and now you put in Steven Nelson. We'll talk about that too. But, yeah, there's too many issues on the back end in addition to a pass rush right now that's very and teetering on what Chris Jones brings to the table.
So are we basically playing a lot of out of position guys out of position? Is that basically what it boils down to?
In the secondary, yeah. It's very apparent. Like D-Mac mentioned, Shamari Connor, because I was about to talk about him next. And so I'm glad D-Mac brought him up. In slot corner, it's not working out. And, we're gonna get to our old friend now, current friend again, Steven Nelson, here later on the show. We're going to get to him. But there's a reason why that we signed him and why we need to get Shamari out of position. Like, we definitely need to get him back to playing more safety, man, because it's like it don't matter who's lined up across from him or is lined up in front of him, bro. Like, he's just barbecue chicken, man. It's bad. Yeah. It's really bad out there.
Because Quentin Johnson, didn't he not catch before this game?
Yeah, he dropped a lot of passes against.
He was perfect last night. Where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
Connor, bro, that Jalen Watson injury was way deeper than it looked at the time. They're considerably worse than they were. It's noticeable.
Yeah, it's a huge drop off since Jalen been hurt.
Yeah, and when Josh went out last night, I was like, damn, where's Josh? We're just giving up too many passes. What happened?
I didn't notice Joshua went out until after the game. And I was like, what happened? It's somewhere around the third quarter. Because I was like, it just didn't feel the same. And I didn't realize that Joshua Williams had gone out the game. And that's exactly why. Because right now, there's not many answers that they got on that back end. But one of them is Joshua Williams on the outside. I think that, I don't know if you guys want to start the conversation here, but
no, let's get it out there. Steven Nelson.
Yeah, they signed him to the practice squad today.
Yeah, so he allows you to play. Hopefully, Josh comes back. Get well soon, Josh. He allows you to move Josh and Steve on the outside and put Trent back at his traditional slot corner, right?
Slot corner, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many problems does that one move solve right there?
I think that solves three. Because at this current moment in time, you have three separate issues, and they're all about teams when they get into three wide receiver sets. You have the issue of your nickel actual coverage is bad with Shamari Connor. Trent McDuffie fixes that. And then also, and don't get me wrong, Shamari Connor is a physical player. Trent McDuffie is not lacking for being able to play the run. I know people talk about Spags' scheme and the way that safeties are able to play within it, and that's why he's willing to sacrifice some measure of coverage to make sure of that. Trent McDuffie has done this for 2 years prior, showing you that he's more than willing to fit in the run and have no issues as far as that concerned, while being an amazing blitzing quarter on top of that. So I have
Trent had a game last night.
Let Trent McDuffie be the slot full time when they got three wide receivers out there. Put Steven Nelson on the outside, put Joshua Williams on the other side. Let them beat them up and be physical on the outside and live with the results. Because right now, what you have is one bad corner on the outside. You have one great corner on the other side that never gets targeted. And when he does get targeted, it's usually only against bigger wide receivers, which is his disadvantage. If you move him inside, then you mitigate that advantage because they're not always going to be bigger wide receivers on the inside. And then you also add a guy that on the outside would allow you to, again, play that press coverage that you want to move. So to me, and again, throwing off the timing of the routes makes it more difficult to get into the space that you know is going to be open on the back end because of the athletic safety issue deficiency from that standpoint. And maybe that allows you, if you want to, play more Shamari Connor in traditional safety roles and not necessarily have to retrofit it into a nickel cornerback role from that standpoint. So I think it could fix three. It just depends on how far Spags wants to go, from that standpoint.
I'll tell you one thing, man. It didn't matter who Joshua Palmer. It didn't matter who was covering Josh Palmer, man. Josh Palmer did where the heck he wanted. And even on plays that he wasn't targeted in because Trent McDuffie, we love Trent, but dog, he got his ankles broken. He got his ankle wrong that one
did.
round, bro.
Mhm.
Woo.
Yeah. So going in, I don't want to. We're not one of those teams that have to worry about mock drafts right now. How has this changed your value? Because we've all know. Shout out to Justin Reed. I've enjoyed what you brought to the team, what you brought to the city. I think this is your last year as a Chief. I just do. How does that change the value of safety and cornerback in the draft, or are they just equally at the same point right now? That I know we're going to add a corner, but I'm looking at safety like, man, we need a safety now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the draft is a long. I've just moved up my importance of safety as the week go by. It's like we got to get these people in proper positions, or we just got to get rid of somebody. Because I'm just tired of giving up 3rd and longs for no reason
Yeah,
to
that's a major
no-name
problem.
receivers.
3rd and longs have been a major problem.
It's like, who is Gabe Davis, and why do we keep giving up 3rd down play? Like, why do we keep giving up the play to the no-name receiver? Who is this guy?
I'll let.
There was a guy last night that caught a ball. I've never heard of him in my life.
It was a Palmer, Kirk Johnson, Stone Smart. Who else caught the ball for the Chargers?
It was like number 10 or something. I was like, who the hell is that?
Oh, that's just Herbert's number 10. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
maybe
Herbert's
11.
number 10.
I think it was an 11 out there. I can't remember.
I don't know who he was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know who it was.
Why is he catching 20-yard passes against us?
It's not good. No, I think safety hasn't necessarily moved up my priority list. But it depends on how honest they want to be about Shamari Connor and Najee Johnson. If they want to be honest about those two and use them like safeties, then no, I don't think you do. I truly think that you can, if you roll in next year, and we'll see about what happens with Brian Cook, you don't have to spend a premium pick on safety, in my personal opinion. Let Shamari Connor, let Najee Johnson be safeties. Draft a corner, draft an outside corner, because you know that you're going to need one regardless of, even if you think that Jalen Watson is going to be fine and Joshua Williams develops, and you don't necessarily need to have one. But say that you draft one or draft a slot corner. If you really love one and you really want to keep McDuffie outside, do that as well. Draft a corner, move the safeties that need to be playing safeties to safety, and then go on from there, my personal opinion. Because I think you'll get more value out of the cornerback anyway. Yeah.
We got a bunch of open mic comics trying to be doing HBO specials. It just ain't working. It's not your job, bro. You just warm the crowd up. You ain't supposed to. You're not Richard Pryor.
No, you're not the headliner for sure. But no, I think that unfortunately they've run their way into a little bit of a positional logjam where they have safeties that they're trying to big corners, and they can't do it. They can't play that position. And they also have a safety that should be a dime linebacker, but they already got 2 of those because they need to play Nick Bolton as the linebacker on dime snaps anyway. So that's not necessarily all that helpful either.
It just, what happened between the first half, because they were dominant in the first half. They weren't getting nothing going. What happened? What happened between the first half and the second half? Was it Josh Williams going out, and then it's like, oh well, here we go?
I think that was part of it. I think that certainly was part of it. I think the Chargers went away from a lot of the early down run game stuff. I think they were like, let's ease off of that. Let's go out there and try and pass early. Let's get out there, spread it out. They didn't do as many heavy personnel sets either as well. That took Leo off the field. So that was really the thing for me. I didn't notice it. I had to go back and watch and see that Joshua Williams actually went out. It was a little bit more taking advantage of putting those wide receivers out there, being able to take advantage of Shamari Connor in the slot as well, the open space on the back end. And that was really the big thing. They didn't want to keep running the ball with Gus Edwards into a brick wall. They were like, we can do other ways to try and move the football. And it ended up working. They trusted Justin Herbert to do so.
The run defense has probably been the most consistent that we've had all year. I think this is one of Drew Tranquil's better games. Do you agree there?
Yeah, I thought he was solid. Yeah. I thought him and Nick were solid. I don't think they did anything spectacular, but I thought they were both solid.
No, yeah, they just held up. But
And Leo was good again too when he was out there.
yeah, they. I think it's gonna click, but it's just like I think we should be ahead of where we are right now, just a little bit more. I think it's close. I'm by no means hitting the panic button. I don't really know what that is, but it's just consistency, man. And it just, and I got to address this. The Trey Smith penalty was so frustrating. Why? What are you doing in this moment? Why are we doing this? What is that headbutt going to do for you in this game? It was just a crucial shoot yourself in the foot. And it was just like, why, bro? It didn't make any sense. It could have cost us the game last night.
Yeah, no, it was, it's a bad penalty. Unfortunately, this is something that comes with the tone setter type of offensive lineman prototype. Is that the emotions kind of get ahead from sometimes. And that was just an example of it. Obviously, got to be better than that, got to be smarter than that. He knows that. So it's one of those things where sucks. Don't want to see it happen. You don't want to definitely see it repeated, but it's like, you end up winning the game. It's something that, you can sweep under the rug and excuse because of what he brings to the table.
But set the tone in the first quarter. Not the third. After the, what is up with the third quarter? We've sucked all year in third quarters. What's going on?
Teams are doing a good job at adjusting at a halftime, and I think that the Chiefs are either slow to adjust or not really trying to adjust at a halftime for one reason.
It goes back to my point, man. They just an employee that just clocked in for 8 hours a day, and we're not doing nothing special.
Yeah. And do what we need to do.
Yeah. And we're 12-1, so it's hard to be mad at the process.
It is frustrating. I will be honest with you. It is frustrating. But I think that as we get back to the Steven Nelson of it all, it is an acknowledgement, I think, of that they not only, because obviously Joshua Williams got hurt, not only that they have a depth issue, but that maybe they're more willing to find some solutions than they will let on, and maybe some other fans may think that they are. If they have the ability, and Steven Nelson was a good corner, specifically outside for the Texans last year, I truly believe if they have the ability to put him outside and get Joshua Williams back to be outside, and McDuffie can play the slot, especially versus those wide receiver looks, then I think you have the ability to really, change your defensive look. Because right now, you can stop the run and you can get teams into third and longs, but it doesn't matter because they can convert those third and longs. And God forbid they're throwing the ball on early downs when you're not necessarily going out there with a representative pass rush set, because you got Derek Nottie and Mike Pennell out there, then you're definitely going to give up some, because the quarterback's got 4 or 5 seconds to find somebody open, and you don't have the athleticism to cover for 4 or 5 seconds from that standpoint. Right. So to me, you have to be able to move McDuffie in the slot. I think that's the reality of the situation at this point.
Yeah, that's regardless of it. He's a big enough Band-Aid that he could cover. Like you said, it could fix 3 positions in one. That one move can fix 3. Because they got Buffalo. It was third and long all night. All night. 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 7, all night. But they were just giving up the 3rd and long.
And it's one thing when you're giving up those 3rd and longs to the alien quarterbacks like Josh Allen and the really incredibly talented quarterbacks like Justin Herbert. You gave it up to, and I know he's playing better, Bryce Young. You gave it up to Aiden O'Connell. Those things are inexcusable. You can't have that happen.
we shout out to the Chiefs for giving Bryce Young a new life, on a new lookout on his career. Hey, they saved that boy's career, man.
I was watching the game yesterday. Was a favor, bro. I was watching this final drive versus the Eagles. I was like, well, the Eagles defense is really good, and he's doing this, so maybe I don't feel as bad. That man, I gotta give him credit, man. He took that time off, and he has found his way into being a pro quarterback. I gotta give him credit.
I give Chief fans a lot of grief, but at least we don't want to fire our quarterback after we barely lost, after we barely beat the Panthers. Because the Eagles want to get rid of everybody now. It's like y'all in the middle of a run, and Brandon Graham is talking about how your receiver and your quarterback are fighting, and then the fans want to.
It's crazy because
How do they win in constant chaos? The Eagles are in constant chaos.
I don't know how they do it. But they asked AJ Brown after the game. He was like, "Yeah, I think the passing game needs to improve." And he gave a little bit of a spicy look afterwards, but that was really all it was. And it should have died there. Then Brandon Graham comes on the microphone and says, "Yeah, I mean, 1-11 used to be friends, but they kind of got an issue now, and they're working through it and stuff." Why would you say that?
Why? Why would you volunteer that?
You're not supposed to say that information outside to a microphone in that standpoint. So that's
can you imagine? I'm trying to think who would be dumb. Nobody on our team would be dumb enough to do that.
It would be like, because it's again, Brandon Graham is somebody that has been there forever and is a veteran within that locker room. So it's like,
it have to be like Noddy or somebody.
That's
somebody that's been here.
It would be like if James Winchester was like, "Yeah, man, 15 and 87. They used to be friends. They're kind of on a little iffy thing right now." And I'm not saying that Brandon Graham is James Winchester. Brandon Graham's obviously a significantly better player.
No, it's the
but
vet.
I'm just saying,
I get what you're
forever. Like, why? You know better than that. Why would you ever volunteer that information?
You volunteered that to why, bro? Why?
You ever see that?
Man, Pat Mahomes could slap 4 of his wide receivers. I'll just be sitting there like, whoa.
Well, if it was last year, they would have earned it.
Man,
speaking of which, did you see Kadarius Toney? He had himself a day.
I'd be sitting in the locker room like, man, was you here when Pat slapped the shit out of Sky Moore? No, man. That's what we talk about, locker room cultures. This is why we didn't draft George Pickens. He wouldn't fit in our locker room. I know he's great. I love George Pickens. He's a star. He's going to be a star. But his temperament is not right for what we're doing. Can you imagine him getting 3 targets? He would lose it. Mm-hmm. It's no reason Mike Tomlin comes up and says, "Hey, I'm going to need you. Stay locked in. We're going to need you." You shouldn't be telling your star wide receiver that. You shouldn't have to tell him that.
It obviously takes a divine entity or the patron saint of peace, whatever Mike Tomlin is, based on how he's been able to deal with certain personalities in the past, to keep a guy like that in line. And that's what he is as far as George Pickens is concerned. And yeah, I mean, that's just something that the character aspect of it is always going to be a part of that evaluation that they always take into account. And so, yeah, you're not going to get George Pickens guys here. It's just not the reality situation.
It's just not going to happen.
But fortunately, you got DeAndre Hopkins, and he can score touchdowns for you. So,
yeah. Okay. So, and tell the truth, you guys have been killing. I know I've been gassing y'all up a lot lately, but y'all been killing it. From 20 to 20, no problem. I have no problem with what they doing from this side of the 20 to that side of the 20. Red zone, gold zone, green, whatever you want to call that zone. What in the hell happens there? What is that? Why do we just abandon the run? We all of a sudden we're doing trick plays. All of a sudden we're doing Xavier Worthy's at the quarterback. What the hell are we doing in the red zone, man? Why are we still doing tricks?
When we did that trick play, and then I can't remember.
And then we had to call it. Did we have to call a timeout?
Nah, it's a false start. Somebody false started, I think.
So Xavier Worthy was that quarterback during that play?
That was Pacheco.
Was it Pacheco?
Worthy was at running back.
Oh, okay. I was my bad. Yeah. I apologize.
Well, look,
that was dumb either way.
I was tailgating before, so I completely missed whatever that. So I never even saw whoever was at quarterback. I just heard the false start, and I was like, "What just happened?" So I didn't even
It was
see
on Humphreys, I think.
I think it was
it was Humphreys.
So,
It was Humphreys.
to me, Chuck said it. Running the ball more consistently, I think, is a big piece of it. It's difficult because it's more condensed, more people in the box that comes with it. But we have the offensive line to do so. I truly do believe that. That's a big piece of it. Secondary piece of it is if you're not going to get the ball out of your hands quickly, which is somewhat difficult sometimes because, again, guys are playing aggressive press man coverage because they don't necessarily have to get on their horse and cover things over the top because it's a condensed field. You have to create a little bit of time to get guys open from that standpoint. And obviously this pocket, offensive line hasn't done the greatest job at doing so. But it's one of those things because they move the ball so well in between the 20s. And that's without even trying to have an explosive play. Like they haven't taken a deep shot to Xavier Worthy in weeks at this point. Like it just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Like since the Bills game in which Xavier Worthy had the issue on the sideline, they haven't taken another deep shot. I don't know why they haven't, but they just haven't. So
yeah, they tried to D-Hop one time, but
they did the down the side, but it's a little bit different. The sideline one-on-one matchups with DeAndre Hopkins are a little bit different than the actual try and get over the top kind of plays. And we'll see. We have some news about Hollywood Brown this week. We'll see if that ends up changing things if he comes back and gets implemented into the offense. But I have no issues with them between the 20s, even though they kind of make it a little bit harder on themselves from that standpoint. I still believe that this offense is going to be where it needs to be, assuming that hopefully DJ Humphries is healthy and he continues to move forward. It's just going to be a question mark of, do you have the correct play calling in the red zone to finish those? And I think that they'll probably get that right when they need to. We just got to see it happen.
It really got to the point when I kept seeing them trying to get pass happy again, bro. I was like, bro, can we just borrow Ben Johnson for 1 week? That's all I need. 1 week. Just 1 week.
Did he throw 46 times again?
Yeah.
47.
Yeah, it was in upper 40s. Yeah. That happened.
It's like,
which is crazy because you're in such a ball control offense. You wouldn't think that you could get to 47 passes when you only have so many possessions in the game because you keep bleeding clock and taking 10-play drives. You think you wouldn't be able to, but we keep fighting away. And I don't know. And again, I'm giving grace because I don't know how much is the day they don't want to put that on Pacheco's plate. They know Kareem Hunt is out of gas. I'd love it if they ran some RJP ride more, but
yes, bro. He was kind of an unsung hero in this game.
Yeah, he was an unsung hero this game.
Pick up blitz, and he had a great play when he caught the pass out the backfield, hurdled somebody, got a big game out of that. I'm like, bro, the underutilization of Samaje Perine is mind-boggling.
Is Clyde able to run? He can still run, right?
Well, again,
Clyde just run him. I mean, just run him into the ground. Then
he's not going.
Clyde is not playing, bro.
Clyde
he's
is
not
playing.
I know he's not. I'm just looking for some type of solution. Something. What is this? What play is this?
These are the Samaje Perine plays that I put together because I thought it was a nice amalgamation. This is the stuff that he brings to the table that was similar that you were getting out of Jet McKinnon in 2022 specifically, but being able to catch the ball at the backfield, being able versus light boxes, and I'll actually show that one again specifically, that being able to see a light box, hey, you got 6 guys really in this box. You got a slot guy over Travis Kelce. You have the numbers to run the ball effectively here on 2nd and 2. And guess what? I mean, he juggled the ball, but he did end up getting the first down. So he has the ability to pick up some measure of yardage in those certain situations as well. And I think you need to take more advantage of that, being able to run him too. But yeah, it's a play calling thing. It's taking advantage of those situations and being able to run the ball because it's the basis. And this was the heroic play. Obviously, that was the 3rd down. I want to get into this play in deeper detail, but specifically talking about him being able to pick up that block on Derwin James was spectacular, man. That was a heck of a job because Derwin's just lined up there in that A gap, and he's like, "You coming down the train tracks, and I got to get in your way." And he sacrificed his body to do so and keep Mahomes clean enough. So I got to give you your tip of the cap to Samaje Perine for that.
I will give Collinsworth credit for that because he did call out what Mahomes was calling out because I don't know why we heard. Did they have a mic on Mahomes last night? You can hear everything he was saying last night. Even, stay right there. Shift, move. Like you can hear everything like it was a COVID. Remember the COVID games? It's like I ain't know Mahomes talk that much on the field, but you can hear like everything. Collinworth did good on that part last night.
Yeah,
He
you hear
does
Mahomes every
good on
game.
that part during the game. Huh?
I said you hear Mahomes every game. I think
Last night was a little. He was talking a lot last night, bro.
Well, yeah,
I think he was calling out a lot of protections to DJ Humphries. I did see a couple times DJ Humphries would lean over to Pat like, okay, what am I gonna do? And then Pat be like, block him. And that they were doing a lot of that last night. But
I mean, as many times Mahomes been getting hit this season, yeah, I'll be doing some talking too.
So that's what I'm saying. Andy Reid is a genius. Nobody's discounting that. Andy, in order to stop Pat from not getting hit 12 times a night, we got 3 running backs. And then we got a fullback we can use. Give them, please. Can we run the ball? And then when they do decide to run the ball, Pacheco, 4 or 5 yards, 4 or 5 yards a carry. It's working. What are we doing?
Yeah, and it's like ever since Pacheco came back, we out here throwing the ball on 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1, and it's like, what are we doing? Why are we going back to these old habits, bro? Like
The only thing that's working, the only thing that works completely is running up tempo and running the ball. Because when they go in a 2-minute drill, I don't know any team on this planet that can stop them in a 2-minute drill.
I agree 1,000%. I said, I don't know. We may have to do it every other drive, every 2 drives. I don't know.
I mean, you gotta let your defense rest a little bit because they need it.
Yeah,
but when they're running tempo, end of the half, 2 minutes to go, we need a score. It's nobody that can stop them. Nobody.
But it's the same thing as it was at the end of the game. They knew they had to go down and get a touchdown. I mean, get in place for a field goal and get as close as possible for the and get as close as possible for that field goal. Ideally, though, to run out the clock on top of that. So they did exactly that. They went down. They got the huge 3rd down conversion to Xavier Worthy, which we'll talk about in a second. And they just got one play after the next play. They ran the ball effectively. And then Mahomes had that magical play to Travis Kelce on 3rd down. And all you had to do was kneel it out from there. Now, they knew exactly what they needed to do and did it accordingly. So that's why when I talk about the offense, I think the offense, again, is still top 10. They're like 9th in EPA per play. Scoring is solid. Mahomes is now top 10 in pretty much anything you want to look at. The offense is in the place. The foundation is there. As long as DJ is healthy, we'll see if Hollywood comes back. I'm not worried about the offense doing what it needs to do come playoff time because I think they can still get to some more explosives and the play calling would be better. It's more of a frustration on that side. There are real structural issues, I think, that with the defense that are more concerning right now.
Yeah. So that Travis Kelce play, how do you just leave him? Hey, that's what I'm doing.
That is the genius of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. He's supposed to be running the corner route, and he was just like, "Well, you guys are guarding over there, so I'm gonna stay right here.
I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna chill over here.
And I'll give you guys a tip of the cap, KC people. He looked like Salvador Perez, just right there. He's like, "Hey, I'm right here. I got you." Right
he actually had time to look and see if he was past the 1st down marker before anybody even got close to touching him. He was just like, oh, "Okay, I'm cool. I'm just gonna lay here. Okay, somebody come touch me." You know,
he wasn't trying to get up. He wasn't trying to get no extra yards. He was just like, "I know I need to complete this pass past the 1st down marker. That's it."
And this leads me to my next point here because this drives me nuts too, man. And at the same time, it's hilarious because Patrick told the coach staff, "Look, I'm gonna make something happen on the 3rd 7. I'm like, look, I'm just gonna make something happen, man. Don't worry, I got it." He's there's many times he had to cover Andy Reid and Matt Nagy's ass, bro, because they just, oh my gosh, the play calling is so incompetent, especially in these last few weeks, bro.
This is playoff Pat though, where when he starts running the ball, he don't run the ball during the regular season. I doubt he wanted to run it last night. He's starting to flip that switch because playoff Pat runs the ball. It's 3rd and 6. I can run for 7. I can run for 8. Oh, y'all gonna play zone and y'all gonna have y'all back to me? Oh, no, I'll get this quick 12 yards. I don't care. I'll take that hit, and I'm diving for it.
Yeah,
He,
and
man,
and it
But
leads me to
you
my.
know, sorry,
Oh,
I
my
was
bad.
just gonna say real quick. You know when that flip kind of switches for him, and it's in those moments. He did it versus the Panthers. I think back to 2022 on the road versus the Bengals. He goes over the top and tries to dunk on the dude earlier in this season when he runs over Mustafa because they were going up against the 49ers. He specifically turns it on for those moments as well. And I think we saw it at times during this game because it was a really important one to go get. But yeah, it's the same thing as like the rest of the team. They do exactly what they need to do when the situation calls for it.
And
are
which
they
leads me to my.
playing?
And which leads me to
I'm
my next
sorry.
point. Which leads me to my next point. Because I saw this coming earlier. Yes, 1000%. Yes, get them in the building any way
Man,
possible. Because they
it
need
ain't happening,
somebody
bro.
to remind the coach staff. Yes, you can run the goddamn football. Like, do you want your franchise quarterback hurt or not? If you keep doing this game plan like y'all been doing these past few weeks,
You gotta let the EBs go,
I'm done.
man. You gotta let it go.
No, I'm not gonna let it go. Unless he gets hired somewhere else. Other than that, no, I'm not gonna let it go.
He might not get hired nowhere either. But are you content with playing like that? Of just keep it close.
They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice.
I mean, look.
Well, I'm sorry. I cut you off before you finished this question. Were you asking
No,
about the
no.
offense
I
or the
mean,
entire
you
team?
knew where I was going. Keep it close. All right, Mahomes, do something.
Yes, and look, I found that video last night. I was like, bro, Patrick, we've had enough, bro. Can we at least get a week? Can we at least get a week before you start going back to doing this, bro? We're exhausted. We tired,
Somebody
bro.
getting blown out in these next 4 games. Somebody gonna get it.
The only way that somebody gets blown out is if Jameis Winston loses his mind, which again, I don't even think that would work because none of our defensive backs want to catch the ball. So I don't know if that even would. I don't know if that would even work. But that's the only way anybody's get blown out. That's legitimately the only way. The most ideal, and we'll probably talk about this too. The most ideal scenario is next week, Steelers lose to the Eagles, Bills lose to the Lions. You win versus the Browns, you win versus the Texans, and then you can rest. You don't have to play Christmas on a really short week in Pittsburgh. You can just rest everybody you need to, and then you can play a little bit versus the Broncos in the last game of the season, and you get the bye week. That's the most ideal scenario I see the rest of the way.
Is that too much rest? Because I don't want to be like the Ravens who rested for a damn month, and then they were rusty as hell when it came to the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think it is. If you were to take the full from the Texans game, which is the 21st, I believe, to the 18th or 19th of January, off, too much rest.
Way too much.
Way too much rest. But you can take that 4 days and not play on a short week in Pittsburgh and then take the extra rest of the Denver game and play a half. I think you can do that. I think that you get some of that work in, get some things installed, get a little bit of time, some snaps. You want to get Hollywood in there with Mahomes for some snaps, do that as well. I would still play Hollywood on Christmas if he's ready to play on Christmas. Obviously not like any significant snaps, but if he wants to play or if he's ready to play, get him out there so he gets a feel for it. Then put the guys out there for a half, work on some things that you feel like you need to work on, and then go into the bye week from that standpoint. You can't take the full month off, but if you split it in half, I think it's a reasonable thing to do.
It makes sense.
I was just about to say, like, I want, even if we clinch everything early, I still want these guys to play like at least a half, just so we keep that rhythm going, just keep that continuity going that could possibly be building with the return of Hollywood on Christmas Day. So, like, just to kind of keep that rhythm intact. So
get
Hollywood
Steven Nelson
playing,
snaps,
baby.
Get Steven Nelson snaps, get DJ Humphries more snaps. I'm not saying that you play him like if you win these next 2 weeks, honestly I probably wouldn't play him on Christmas Day. If he's healthy for these next 2 weeks, he plays and everything's fine, I'd probably sit him for that. And you wrap up the 1 seed, I'd probably sit him for that Steelers game as well. I don't know if they could. I don't know what offensive line. No, they could do that. Yeah, they could do that with that offensive line. It'd just be he'd probably be a backup from that standpoint. So I would be fine with that as well. But definitely, if you feel like Steven Nelson is going to be a guy that you may need to rely on the playoff run, play him. Definitely get Hollywood Brown snaps, and if he's active for the Steelers game, and the Broncos game, get him snaps in both of those, and ideally in the first half with the starters. So yeah, you got to pick and choose your spots. But having that 1 seed wrapped up, I think, allows you a lot more flexibility. Certainly, if it's wrapped up by the Texans game.
Okay, so what's the scenario again? Eagles have to lose. Eagles have to beat the Steelers.
Next week, well, in the magic number for the Chiefs is 3 at this current moment in time. So simply, if they win the next 2 weeks and the Bills lose next week and the Steelers lose next week, then that's it. That's all you need.
Steelers play the Eagles.
Steelers play the Eagles. Yes.
Okay. And then the Bills play the Lions.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna hold you.
I don't know where that Pittsburgh game is at. I don't know if it's in Pittsburgh or in Philly.
That's a nice matchup.
I know the Lions game is in Detroit, though.
Yeah, my thing is this, though, man. It feels like the Bills going to bounce back against the Lions. I mean, I feel like the Lions may be due for a loss.
The Lions can't. I mean, the Bills can't stop the run. It's the Rams got whatever they wanted to on that defense. I think the Lions are going to get whatever they want to on that defense as well. And then you add on top of it the fact that the Lions have a better defense than the Rams did. I think the Bills are going to go in that game and lose. No, I'm not saying that they for sure will. I think that they'll lose, but it's not like they're going to get blown out or rocked. But I do think the Lions are going to handle them.
I mean, they might put up another 40.
And it is worth saying also the Lions will have extra days rest going into this as well.
Yeah, they will. I mean, I will agree with that. It's just that I don't know, man. Like, who knows? I mean, adjustments do happen. You have a bad day like that on defense. You might get a little more locked in for the next opponent, but we'll see.
Do they have an answer for Puka? Because Buffalo definitely didn't have an answer for.
They didn't have an answer for whoever, dog. Whether it was Kyron.
No, Puka was killing him. Every third down, he was killing him, bro.
The Lions got a lot of answers over there. They got Amon-Ra, they got J-Mo, they got Tim Patrick. That's
what I'm saying.
Porter, they got Gibbs, they got Montgomery. They got a lot of answers.
That's what I'm saying. Buffalo might be in trouble.
Also, the game is in Philly for not Ravens. Jeez, Chris, I keep wanting to say Ravens for Steelers Eagles. So.
Well, if Brandon Graham don't fracture the entire locker room over the next couple of days, what an idiot! I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm sorry,
and Pickens will be out for the game. I also had to mention that. What'd you say, Chuck?
Yeah, I was about to say, what was Brandon Graham talking about?
He said that there was an issue with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown on radio for whatever reason.
Oh,
he volunteered this information. He's an idiot. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to go. You shouldn't have said that on the radio. But I think some people kind of had an idea that there might be a little rift going on between Jalen and AJ. Because I know AJ, he definitely wants the football. He wants to get involved. He wants to feel like he's a part of the team and be part of the reason why the team wins the game and stuff. But
has Jalen Hurts has he played up to his potential that he showed in the Super Bowl since the Super Bowl?
No, he hasn't had a game like the Super Bowl since then. No, he hasn't.
Right.
No, he's still been good. I think that he's been fine as a quarterback, but he has not had a game where he was on target, and it wasn't like
he was amazing in the Super Bowl.
It wasn't like the Chiefs defense was giving stuff up. He was putting dots out there. That pass he had to Dallas Goedert, I can still picture it right now on that sideline. That was like a dot. And he put the ball in the money to AJ Brown down the field. He was really good in that Super Bowl.
The Devontae Smith catch over Snead at the end. They kind of tightened it back up. He was amazing versus Kansas City. That was
he carried their run game because they couldn't run the ball with the running backs. He carried their run game.
Right.
Yeah, like he's still been good, but not at that level. Not at what we saw in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
That was his tour de force.
I mean, look, it's one of those things. The same way it may end up being the highlight of Joe Burrow's career, that's probably going to end up being the highlight of Jalen Hurts' career. Because it's difficult to get back to the Super Bowl.
It is very difficult,
and it's crazy.
Especially if you lose the first one, it's hard to get back.
And it's crazy because like a lot of people, they like the Eagles right now to represent the NFC, and it's like I don't know, man. Like I still got some concerns with them. I mean, they got the talent, but it's
the coaching.
Still some concerns with that.
It's always you question mark about what Nick Sirianni is going to do when it matters most. It's going to be a question mark. But I will say, I think that outside of the Packers, because I think that the Lions, the Eagles, and the Packers are the three teams that can come out of the NFC. I suppose one of those two quarterbacks would end up breaking the you lose your first Super Bowl appearance that you never get back type of thing. So we'll see if it ends up happening for either Jared Goff or Jalen Hurts. But we would definitely like their help next week. We'd appreciate that.
You don't believe in Sam Darnold?
No, I don't believe in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, ain't
Shout out to Sam Darnold, man. He had them. Not he. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson had them Falcons DBs gasping for air. Justin Simmons looked lost, and never mind what the corners was doing.
What was my dude doing on that Justin Jefferson?
He was looking at somebody in the stands. He was doing a Tyreek Stevenson. He was talking to the fans in the stands with the play. He didn't know what was going on. Oh man!
I've never seen somebody be that off. He was off.
Yeah, that boy was drunk at the
bar. That was embarrassing.
He was drunk at the bar for sure.
Let's get to the third down play before I don't want to get too far. Xavier Worthy. Props to Xavier Worthy. Hell of a catch. He kind of fumbled a little bit, came up with it, cracked his fingers, shout out to his moms. Solid catch, veteran catch. He's improving every week. He's getting better and better. And I know a couple weeks ago y'all were saying he's a bust. Look at this nut. Look at this. Where is he going? Where are you going?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What was he looking at?
I mean,
why would he turn around?
Hey, bro. The raising your hand. I know Randy Moss used to wave his hand like fresh off the line. That is disrespectful what he's doing right now. He is waving his hand. That's disrespectful.
Yeah,
that is very disrespectful. Freezer right there. That is very disrespectful what he just did.
By the way, Jalen Ramsey had an even worse, well, not a worse one, but he had a really bad one versus Garrett Wilson this week too. And then
he got did.
Had to watch. Yeah, he got. So the worried third down play. Sorry, country. Continue to set it up.
No, you could. No, y'all got to give these people time. Y'all got to give these rookies time, man. Give them time. He improves every week, and he's been integrated into the offense more and more every week. He's improving. So this was a hell of a catch, and build on this for next week or weeks to come. And it was a great catch, great play. So break it down, D-Man.
Absolutely. Great play by Xavier Worthy. And like you said, his role has been increasing every single week. They're asking him to do more and more real wide receiver things, as I talked about Rashee Rice and his progression last year, and then also into the start of this year. And it's great to see, that people have an issue with the plan at wide receiver, and people are always going to talk about Mecole Hardman, and obviously the draft pick. People are going to talk about Sky Moore, which is a bust of a pick as well. I think some of that is, hey, you took Mecole Hardman because of the Tyreek Hill situation. And he was a guy that was okay for a role, but not necessarily a guy that developed to develop further. Sky Moore, you took him, bad evaluation, maybe a little bit under-talented, small school guy, could not really just play at this level as far as that's concerned. That's just not in the cards for him from that standpoint. So the development couldn't really be possible with him. Rashee Rice, though, all the athleticism, has the ball skills, was a contested catch guy down the field. And as you continue to elevate his role in the offense, he took every single snap or every single step and continued to build on it because he has that talent. I think Xavier Worthy has that talent, absolutely. And I included this first one because it was something that I pointed to at the start of the season with the Ravens game, that the most important catch that he ended up making in that game was a drag route that was going to end up being something that they could build upon for the rest of the season. And I think you've seen it consistently, especially when you get these man-to-man coverage looks that the team keeps facing because, they don't necessarily respect the wide receivers. And he's taking advantage of it. And this was a huge third and 7 conversion on the end of the first half drive that we ended up scoring our only touchdown of the game on. And I also want to shout out Justin Watson, a guy that only does his job on a consistent basis and attention to detail, doesn't get an offensive pass interference. He just does exactly what he needs to make sure that the DB sees him and then has to reroute accordingly and, doesn't make any contact. And Xavier Worthy's speed from the Mahomes pass makes it end up working out as well. And so the thing that I did want to move forward ahead as far as the third down catch was concerned, though, this was a great maturation process because they're going to drop, these two linebackers out. They're going to send the slot corner. It's going to be three guys underneath, three Chargers defenders, three guys over the top. And so they're going to use Travis Kelce kind of as on a dig route. They're going to have Justin Watson kind of settle up around the logo. But Xavier Worthy's going to have the clear out aspect of it, which is basically just run down the field and create space for Kelce and Watson. But he recognizes necessarily that they have this pretty much capped out, that it's not going to happen. And he's like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to come back to the football and go get it. And that's exactly what Patrick Mahomes puts it on him. And those are the types of things that a growing wide receiver, somebody that is comfortable in the position and understands the nuance of the position, can bring to the table for you and make those types of adjustments. Say, hey, they got a cap on this. And that's another great Samaj. That was the Samaj P. Ryan block. But see that they have a cap on it, then come back to the football and make that catch. And like you said, he ended up probably jamming his finger, I guess, on it too, where he had to pull his fingers out after the catch. But just being able to recognize it, see the three guys over the top, make the adjustment, and come back to the football, which is something that we've seen a lot of wide receivers sometimes struggle with all of Patrick Mahomes' kind of ad-lib segment reaction plays. It's great that he was able to do that, and I think it's another testament to how his game has continued to grow and how much they're trusting him as well, given that he led the wide receivers in snap count this week. And we'll see what it looks like the rest of the season, but he's going to be the guy next to DeAndre Hopkins, I think, honestly, probably throughout the playoffs, because I don't think Hollywood is going to come for that mantle either.
Okay, so here's a question, and I'm asking this to both of you. Does he make this catch 4 weeks ago?
That's dicey.
I don't know if he makes the adjustment 4 weeks ago.
Right.
That part is he? Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is the way he's learning and getting comfortable playing with Pat. I don't think he makes this play 4 weeks ago. I don't think he makes it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
It's possible.
I think, yeah, he's
getting possible. But
yeah. He's understanding
it's showing the growth and the improvement, and he's learning how to play with Pat. Because playing with Pat is different. It's a bit of structure, but it's a bit of street ball. It's a bit of playground. Find a spot. It's not your typical, like, we don't need you can't just be a regular wide receiver in this offense. You got to know when to bite off. You got to know when to improvise. Okay, he's running. Let me get right here. You just got to know more than just being, I just know my route. You feel me? Does that make sense?
No, sorry. I thought you.
Yeah, I was done.
Oh no. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, because like we done seen Travis Kelce do it throughout his entire career here. Kansas City.
He's a master at it.
Yeah, like the option routes are definitely a key component of this offense. Like you got to be able to know that type of stuff. You got to be able to know. Sometimes you got to be able to know where Patrick is at on the field. Like if he's rolling to his left, get to the spot where he's at. If he's rolling to his right, get to a spot where he can find the window, get to that window. So that's just some of the things.
And I think D-Hop is learning this. D-Hop is doing this. I think D-Hop is almost there to where, okay, I see Pat doing this. I'm about to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that throw and catch to D-Hop that he dropped in the corner, like at the 2, that was an amazing play right there too.
Yeah, personally, that was a play. That was an amazing play by the safety. Man, that was just a good hit by Cam Hart on that one.
Yeah,
I was disbelief, but But you want to know what's funny about D-Hop, man? You remember how the start of the game when Travis Kelce caught his first pass? It looked like he was trying to pitch to D-Hop, and Travis decided to just hold on to the ball. And D-Hop was like, man, the game just started. It's the first drive. Like, what are you doing? Like, he kind of leaned over to him after the play, saying that.
Hey, buddy,
I don't know if D-Hop is the one I want him pitching to, because
we don't.
I don't think he got to. Now, if he pitched to a Hollywood Brown or Xavier White, I might, P. Ron been pretty good on it, on the pitch. But I mean,
P. Ron. P. Ryan got a lot of Jared McKinnon injury. I think that's what the thing is there.
Oh, can I say this? Can I say this real fast? I'm sorry, D-Mac.
Yeah, go ahead. No.
These are my thoughts alone. It's a PSA. It's not reflection of Kingdom Cast or any of his people. Jared McKinnon is done. He don't want to come back. Let it go. He's living comfortable. He's retired. He got his money. He got his rings. If Steven Nelson comes back, you know Jared McKinnon's not coming. I'm sure he's got a phone call. I'm sure they called him. What you doing, Jared? Bro, I am good, Brett. I am fantastic. I am chilling. He don't want to come back. I know a lot of people was questioning maybe we should just call Jared McKinnon. You can call him. He might not answer. He ain't coming back. This is over. It's over. And that's not a bad thing. It's just I think, shoot, he's a small guy. He took a lot of injuries. He's cool, but yeah, what's up with Andy and these play calls? Shit, if we knew that, we wouldn't even have a show.
Have people been asking for Jet McKinnon to come back?
I've seen people ask for Jared McKinnon.
That's surprising. So yeah. I want to bookend this because I think it's important to present it from this standpoint in the context of what we've seen as far as the progression, I'll say, for teams here. And I think in a similar way that you said, being a wide receiver in Kansas City involves a little bit of art, an understanding of the position, nuance, being able to be on the same page with Patrick Mahomes. The way that I would compare it is what you said a few weeks ago, does Xavier Worthy end up making that play? It's similar to Rashee Rice in this standpoint, where last year we saw his progression where he sort of had the playbook expanded. He started to get trusted down the stretch consistently. And then we got to the end of the season and he was making route adjustments for what was ended up being his longest catch of the season, where he's supposed to
Miami game.
No. This one, right? Can you guys see the screen? Oh yeah, you can see it. Yeah, in this one specifically, this is a route that he's not supposed to run, but he recognizes press coverage. He recognizes no safety over the top, and Mahomes trusts him to go out there and make that play, and they end up hooking up on that. And then you're able to then see, okay, well, this is something that you were able to do over the back half of the season. Then I can go and bring it to this year to start out, and this is week 2 versus that very same team. Versus the Bengals, where he's able to give Cam Taylor. Huh? Oh yeah, that's a good point. My bad. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Because I always think, well, because it's so dumb because it's on Twitter. But anyway, he's able to take that, what is the nod and out up against the Bengals, and able to turn that into a touchdown because of the continued growth that Rashee Rice has. And that's a similar thing to what I think you're going to see Xavier Worthy over the course of his career here in Kansas City. Thank you for catching that, Chuck. I apologize. But yeah, I think it's going to be important.
It just brings it back full circle of they're just it's like disrespectful to say they're just practicing. They just like playing the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay, now we need to go win. It's a bit disrespectful. It feels like it's disrespectful, but how could you not, you know what I'm saying? Like they're working. They've successfully, during games and in winning, have worked D-Hop in. They've worked Xavier Worthy into a role. They've worked Kareem Hunt into a role. They're working now. They're working Pacheco back into his role. They're going to work DJ Humphries into a role. Like during games. Like this is incredible when you think about it. Like, am I tripping?
No, it absolutely is.
No,
I just wanted to show the flex so you guys knew what I was talking about here. But this is the one from earlier in the season where he gets Cam Taylor-Britt and Mahomes trusts him, get him over the top. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you're going to continue to see Xavier Worthy's role expand, and it's all a part of that process of working these guys in, continuing that growth, and specifically for a guy like Worthy, who they have a heavy investment in. I'm going to be excited to see what happens, and hopefully it includes more of those things over the top, but I think that they probably need an extra threat like Hollywood Brown maybe to make those things come into fruition, but we'll see.
And fans, don't get mad if he's not immediately on the same page with Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown may be a decoy.
Mm-hmm.
Just we got to respect his speed out here. Yeah. He might be. You know what I'm saying? He might not He might not have the big catch or the big long. I think they'll try it, but don't expect them to be out there and be all pro in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. That's not how it works. And I think that's what. And this goes back to a even further point where me and Boogie get into it of, well, wide receivers aren't picking up the playbook. I don't think it's necessarily the playbook. It's the playbook plus the extra stuff you got to do when Pat improvises. That's a whole nother thing you have to learn. And you only learn that during game time, right? You don't learn that. Do you learn it at training camp? Is he improvising at training? He might be.
Yeah. I'm sure they've done like talks. I mean, I'm sure Patrick and the receivers, they don't talk, had like little sideline conversations or like conversations.
It's the whole Texas.
All that.
But it's different when it's live bullets. It's different when you're going through this.
Right.
And that is it, to not say, hey, they're practicing during the regular season, but that is what they do during the regular season to make sure that it's ready for the playoffs. They do the things that they need to know, that they need to have habits as from that standpoint. And there's a question mark of, you're trying to re-implement these new guys. Are you going to be able to do that by the time playoffs roll around? That's certainly going to be a question mark to see. Hopefully it is. But I don't the playbook is not easy to pick up. I'm not trying to, make that seem like
we say that all the time. It's not easy.
But DeAndre Hopkins done it pretty well to me. I think Xavier Worthy's done it pretty well. I think Rashee Rice has done it pretty well. They have clear plans for guys. They understand how to get them implemented. It worked for Juju. I mean, it worked for MVS in 2022, and then he started dropping the ball in 2023, but it worked again in the playoffs.
Only dude that didn't work for is that what's the dude's name from the practice squad?
You can pick a name out of a hat for that. But no, I think to me, I don't have a necessarily issue with their progression. I think sometimes they try to progress with some guys that aren't talented or some guys that aren't real wide receivers. Cough, cough, Kadarius Toney. But if that sometimes is an issue, I don't think it's the issue though, because I've seen these guys be able to pick it up. You saw it with Rashee Rice, seen it with DeAndre Hopkins. I think you continue to see it with Xavier Worthy. So I'm not concerned about it from that standpoint. And it's a good thing that these things are happening though, because the next phase of Mahomes' career is going to not going to include the guy that the first phase of his career has been based off of, which is an offense around Travis Kelce. And so now you have to find the guy that you can run your offense through. And God willing, Rashee Rice being able to make a full recovery and pick up where he left off, he was playing like a guy you can run your offense through. He truly was. He was one of the leaders in receiving yards throughout the National Football League because that's how great he was playing at that time. And yes, Kelce was on the field. But what he was doing was outside of the preview of Travis Kelce creating space for him. So if you got Xavier Worthy progressing and get to the place next year where he's at, where it works, and you feel like Rashee Rice picks up next year where things leave off, with or without Travis Kelce coming back, if Noah Grace is starting tight end, and you would have to add tight ends to the room on top of that. But then I think you have the requisite for the talent in the room, and I still want you to take a shot on a wide receiver on day 1 or day 2, or day 1 or day 3, or day 1 or day 2, Jesus. Anyway, but still, like, the things are moving in the right direction for the weapons for the next phase of Mahomes' career is what I'm trying to get at.
That could be a nice three-headed monster for you, Rashee, Worthy, and Gray right there. That could be enough to be 75% of the teams already off top.
Yeah, I mean, we get Mahomes or Reed.
Right. Okay, so like we pretty much covered everything in this game, but let's get down to the very last play. Let's get down to the field goal. What was y'all reaction when the ball hit off the goalpost?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I laughed. I sat in my chair and I said,
I'm glad you laughed.
I laughed. I typed it out. I put a lot of smiling, laughing emojis. That is exactly what happened. You can't, bro.
Chuck, I was sitting. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
no, because you got to get the full experience of Chris Collinsworth was literally praying that he missed this field goal, D-Mac. I'm talking about from Travis Kelce's play through the timeout, through the second timeout, through the setup. He was just wishing he would not make this kick. And then he doinked it in this it's you. I just laughed. It
So
you were there. So how was it in the building?
It's so weird. So like everybody had different react. Like some people did laugh, some people were shocked, some people were like I was sitting next to Blue because I ended up figuring out that they were in the section too. We were watching it and the kick happened and I'm like, I see it going right at the goalpost. So I'm like, and then so it goes off and goes in, and I literally just fall onto 3 seats. I'm just like this. And then I look at Blue, and he's also falling down on 3 seats. And we're like, why do they keep doing this to us? Why can't it just be normal for one time? There's no reason for that to bank shot a field goal in to win the game. There's no reason to do that. And they decided to because I don't know, man. It's just
he came nowhere close to that all night. All the
night. He had longer extra points. It didn't matter. He was perfectly fine. That was the one that it was close.
I mean, and it hit this. Excuse my language. It hit the shit out the goal.
Doinked. It said, boom. It went straight. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, and Andy Reid made me laugh too.
Which one was better though? This one or Cairo Santos? I'm giving a little bit of an edge to Santos because that one was crazy.
That was.
Oh, you talking about that one he hit
in Denver?
27.
Yeah, that was nuttier. That was nuttier because it was a longer field goal. So
yeah.
And I know we don't really Mike Tirico. I know Harold. You and Harold. We always gonna roll with Harold. That was a hell of a call though. Doink for the divisional or division.
I had to tip my cap.
A great line. It was a great line.
It was. I'll give it to the Italian. It was a great line.
I tweeted the executive producer of the franchise. I was like, y'all are gonna make this look so good next Thursday. He liked the tweet. So man, America's game. I gotta buy the Super Bowl DVD this year. This is going to be a season like we're in the middle of it, but when you go back and watch this one, this is going to be like, man, that was crazy. No matter the result of what happens this year, when you look back on this one in a few years, you're going to be like, that was crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And you want to know what? And Andy Reid, he cracked me up a little bit when they showed him in the locker room. You know, when he was mentioning Matthew Wright, he was like, right. You push it a little right next time. I said, yeah.
Oh God, Scratch. Scratch got. Who would you want as coach in place? We all know who Chuck don't want.
Not Matt Nagy. Not Matt Nagy.
I don't want anybody in place of Andy Reid. No.
I always was of the belief that Mike Kafka was going to be next in line, but he went to New York. I don't know how long he's going to be in New York.
Out of a job. Yeah, I was about to say
he might be out of a job soon. I know Chuck, but it's kind of looking like Nagy, but I don't think Andy's retiring. I think he got another 4 years left.
Y'all understand that Bill Belichick is 8 years older or 6 years older, I think, than Andy Reid. He about to go to UNC and coach college.
How is that going to work?
And it's not going to. Andy Reid has coached his entire life to have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. That boy is not letting him go no time soon, man. I keep trying to tell you. I agree there's going to be some type of succession plan. I'm sure Mahomes is probably going to end up playing under a different head coach at some point in his career, but it ain't going to be anytime soon. I truly don't.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. I seriously doubt that Bill Belichick taking a North Carolina job. I really think. Honestly, that's kind of a smokescreen, man. We'll just see. But
I think it is too. I'll believe it when I see it, but it wouldn't work if it happens.
I wouldn't want my kid playing for Bill Belichick, bro. I'm in my tripping. I wouldn't want my kid playing for Bill Belichick, bro.
Country, are you saying that you wouldn't want them to turn out like Aaron Hernandez?
Oh my God! But hold on.
I didn't know you was going there.
Aaron Hernandez.
No, that is for all the idiotic Boston fans that want to act like Kansas City Chiefs have all these scandals. Like y'all wasn't running the league with cheating scandals and Aaron Hernandez running around. Yeah, okay.
Deflated
Aaron
ball.
Hernandez was a problem at college, and they still drafted him. But anyway, I just have a hard time believing that Bill Belichick would want to coach kids. I have a hard time believing that at this stage of his life.
It's like the opposite of Deion Sanders, because I have a hard time believing Deion wants to coach in the NFL. I don't, because the thing that just happened with Brandon Graham, like Deion would lose his shit in the next press conference over that situation.
You know, the other thing about it is this. Bill Belichick, and he said this throughout the interviewing process, is that he wanted to have personnel control. I think that there could be a level of his love for the sport, his ability to pick and choose his players. I don't know how recruiting is going to work. I just don't. His ability to pick and choose the players, and his ability to have full control over the player's schedule all hours of the day. Because that's essentially what college coaches do with college athletes. You just have control over what they do. Maybe that is something that is appealing to him. I don't know. I don't think it'll work, but I maybe that is the thought process and logic behind it if it's not a smokescreen, which I still think it is.
The only thing I think would be worse is him being a Cowboys coach. I'm like, no.
No, I mean, that's
why would y'all ever think that he would go to the Cowboys with Jerry Jones?
Yeah, Jerry Jones ain't giving him control.
Jerry Jones damn near killed Bill Parcells.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Or Bill Parcells, never mind. But what about Belichick with the Bengals if they fire Zach Taylor? Could he be? Man,
it's amazing how far the Bengals have fallen, ain't it?
Is Bill Belichick bringing a piggy bank for the owner?
You're right. They are kind of broke. They are kind of broke.
They ain't gonna change. That's their issue. That's not gonna change.
Zim, hey, bro, I ain't even got no problem with you. Your team trash right now. You got to stop living this fantasy world thinking that y'all might have $700 million in cap room. To think y'all going to spend 698 of it is ridiculous, bro. Know your owner. You're not spending a lot of that money. Y'all will have 50 million. I know y'all got 100 million in cap space right now. Y'all probably spend like 25 of it. Y'all not about to break the bank, bro. That is not how y'all function. That's not how y'all do, bro. T. Higgins is damn near gone. I'm not 1,000% sure Jamar Chase is going to be a Bengal after next year. Next year,
they gonna sign him because I don't think that they signed him this year specifically because I think it was a budget thing, but it's going to end up costing them more because Huh? You guys can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I think it's going to end up costing them more because he had the elite season now that he's going to be like, hey, y'all got to pay me more than Justin Jefferson. That's what he's going to end up going there. Saying.
You already know.
So it's going to cost them, but I think that's the budget that they had planned out to keep him and Burrow together. But I think it was Matt Verderam. I think I said his name correctly. Of SI, he had the article about trading Jamar Chase. The reality situation is the time to trade Jamar Chase, unfortunately, I know this sounds crazy, was after you had 2 years ago the chance to trade him with multiple years on his contract. You knew you weren't going to end up signing him. So being able to run out the string with that, but you can maximize his value then, and then be able to rebuild things and take maybe a slight step back, but you still have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So to me, they missed the window for trying to cash in that chip from that standpoint. And now they're just going to be trying to play catch up for the rest of Joe Burrow's career. Because after you sign Jamar Chase, those are two big contracts that you got on the books. You already know Trey Henderson, who is the entirety thing that is even make your defense anything worth, is older, and then also going to be coming up on needing a raise as well. They're going to try and be catching up the entirety of his contract. So it's not going to be easy for them to rebuild it, and they're going to continue to have the same restraints as well.
Yeah,
this counter window was closed.
The moment they drafted Jamar Chase the following year after Burrow was drafted, I said, look, they're gonna keep both of them when they rookie contracts up here. But as far as like trading T. Higgins and getting some decent in return, that window's definitely closed. I feel like they should have tried to pounce on that, before last season, if you could. But
definitely before last season, even the year before that. Do you guys want to answer DJ's question as far as the best coach behind Andy in the NFL? The three to me is McVay, Tomlin, and Matt LaFleur. I think all three of those guys do a really good job with the entirety of their teams. McVay and LaFleur specifically, I think, are incredible offensive minds as well. What LaFleur has been doing with the Packers, I've been so impressed by. And then Tomlin, I think, is spectacular. Nobody gets more out of the teams than Tomlin, in my personal opinion. It happens on a consistent basis. And I think anybody that doesn't appreciate what he continues to do with the roster that he's elevated there are idiots for that.
Yeah, I'll say those three names too. Kyle Shanahan to an extent. I know, like we've yet to see him try to keep a team afloat. When there's a lot of injuries, per se, because the last time he's had a rough season like this, I mean, there was a lot of injuries that season too. This season, the Niners been banged up, like crazy. They somehow still in the mix for the NFC West, but I don't know. It ain't looking too promising right now, man. You got Debo out here saying he ain't getting the ball enough. Trent Williams and Travarius Ward, they going through stuff personally, losing their kids, everything, which is very sad to see. Very awful to see.
Very unfortunate.
Ricky Pearson getting shot in the offseason. I mean, before the season even began. I mean, the Niners is going through a lot. They've been going through a lot this year.
A whole lot.
Hey man, to any fan criticizing Travarius Ward's play,
yeah, man.
Yeah, that was dirty.
Bro, the fact that he's even playing should be a blessing.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on. Y'all take this shit too seriously sometimes. That's too much.
Yeah,
the fact that he even came back to play this year, because I would have took the year off. To be honest, I honestly would be contemplating my career at this point, to be honest with you, if I lost my child. Mm-hmm. So for y'all to be criticizing this play after being out for a couple weeks, that's ridiculous, bro. Y'all take y'all fantasy shit way too serious, bro.
I agree with that 1,000%. Clyde, I just don't know.
Nah, scratch.
CH is a free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah, it's heavy, bro.
I think it's over with, man. And speaking of guys who may be free agents next year, I mean, we seen that McCall Hardman got put on IR.
Yeah,
but I seen his injury history, man. I think he's done. I think he's done after this season, man. I can't see them bringing him back again one more time.
If he comes back for veteran minimum, I don't have any issue with you bringing him in for wide receiver 5 or 6, because he's been a solid returner. Because again, it's one of those things where yes, his injury history is his injury history, and that's an issue. But it's not like if you sign him to be veteran minimum on the end of your wide receiver roster, and you can bring up a Nico Remigio off the practice squad if he misses a few games, then that seems fine to me. I don't have any issues with that. Obviously, I wouldn't pay him anything, but if he comes back for minimum, I wouldn't be upset with that. I don't think there's anything truly devastating in his injury history. I think it's a lot of nagging stuff for sure, but if his speed is still there, I'm still bringing it back, because I think he settled into a nice role here this year.
Yeah, McCall ain't gonna cost you that much, 1.5, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that's chump change.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, let's talk about bringing somebody back in the organization. We bring back another old face in the organization, Steve Nelson. He got signed to the practice squad, but we all expect him to be elevated at some point this week, possibly. It just depends on how practice goes and all that. But yeah, he's 31. I know that's one concern the fan base has right now. That's kind of up there for cornerbacks and everything. But as D-Mac mentioned on his Twitter, he brought up that he had a decent 2 years in Houston. He could have a little bit something in the tank here. But there's another concern that's going around here based on how he left the franchise previously, but he never played a snap under Steve Spagnuolo. Like, he was from like the Bob Sutton era. You know what I'm saying? Like, are there still some coaches from that Bob Sutton era? From the Bob Sutton era? Yeah, there's still some coaches that were married from there. But
who, Merritt? Was Merritt in there?
I thought Al Harris was there.
Al Harris was here.
Yeah. But there's some concerns about that too. But
I think Coach Terry been here since since Andy got here.
Merritt came over. To me, I don't think it matters because Merritt came over with Spagnuolo in 2019, and he wasn't around for anything as far as Sutton, and that's the person that Nelson is going to be dealing with.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry.
He wasn't a big fan of Bob.
Yeah.
Who was?
That's so my thing is this. I think it's a different regime this time under defense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give it a chance, bro. Like Steve may have something left in the tank. Who knows?
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's playing for that too.
That ring is a motivator. That ring is a motivator, baby.
Yeah,
that's all he need. It ain't even about. He was retired effectively. He got money. He got bread. He went and got bread in Pittsburgh, bread in Houston. Only thing you got to do is come in and win a ring. We got 6 games plus the playoffs. Sounds easy to me. Come on, you just come in here, you play a role. You ain't even got to be the guy. Like DJ Humphrey said, I don't have to be the man. I just got to bring my play to this level and ride it out for 6 games. It's 6 games. He can't completely fall off the planet. I'm guessing. So I think he'll be motivated. I don't think it really was a huge decision. As soon as you knew he was coming in Monday, you knew he was going to be signed Monday. At least I did. Chuck thought I had prior knowledge. I did not. But I think Steve is here. I think he knows what his job is. I think he knows what his role is. I think he's motivated to get that big Super Bowl ring. You ain't got to like him. I see a lot of fans mad of how he left and what he was saying while he was gone. And
did he leave? Did he leave? And I don't mean to make light of the situation I'm going to reference. Did he leave any worse than Kareem Hunt did?
Oh no! Kareem was definitely
no. So, and we see what happened when Kareem Hunt came back. So, in my opinion, and again, I try not to tell other people how to be fans, but if you're going to be a real fan, you gotta come on, man. This is totally different situation. This is a cornerback that can help. He allowed last year a 55 passer rating in press man coverage, and that was across 125 snaps. They would kill for that on the outside right now, and that's exactly what he is. If he can come in and do that, he can change the face of what this defense currently is. And I don't say that lightly because there's not many people that generally can do that, especially when you're coming off the street here. But the level of cornerback play that he was for the Texans last year, if he can give you 80% of that right now, 90% of that right now, that is a massive thing for what the Chiefs defense needs on the back end. So, no, I mean, I'm happy that they brought him in. It's a testament that they continue to try and find ways to win on the margins, and Brett Veach continues to do his job as best as he can. So and I think he mentioned on the podcast that he wouldn't be ready until maybe the Steelers game or Broncos game. I'm not sure. But if they can get him ramped up and have him ready for the playoffs, he can help out a lot tremendously. So I'm happy they brought him in, and hopefully they can get him up to speed.
Yeah, like you said, in the simple move of being able to move Trent back to the slot, it changes the whole dynamic of the room, of the safeties and the corners. That one move. So he don't have to be great. He don't have to come in and be a shutdown corner. He don't have to be Deion Sanders. He don't have to be Jalen Ramsey in his prime. Just to be a serviceable cornerback for 6 weeks. That's it. And you're wearing a ring.
That's literally all we asking. Because, at the end of the day, Steve in that lineup, man, he may be able to help the third and long defense a little bit. You ain't got to deal with Shamari getting targeted on third and long for a good portion. Maybe you just don't have to worry about the safety play possibly on third down. But other than that, bro, I'm welcoming Steve back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and assuming Josh is fine and comes back, he doesn't have to be a starting corner. He is hey, we got 3 wide receivers on the field. Let's go and send you out there and have you play outside, slide McDuffie in the slot type of guy.
Yeah, that's it. That small move. Hey man, y'all gotta start giving Brett Veach some props, man. Because he don't let things just he don't let things just simmer. He see a problem, he go out. Hey, Wanye had 2 bad plays, and hello, DJ Humphrey. Yeah, you cool? You
He is
good?
exhausting every single option. And apparently this is something that they've been talking to Nelson for since October. They have been in communication with DJ Humphries apparently throughout the entirety of the season. These things that he's been working on as contingency plans for possible holes down the line, that's why Brett Veach is a damn good GM.
They're not reactionary moves. This isn't, I'm sorry, Chuck, this is not Baltimore. We're not just going to call this guy because you got that guy. No, we've been working on, we've been in, huh?
No, he was saying that because he cut you off. He was saying because he cut you off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off. My bad.
I thought he was apologizing because he cut you off. My bad.
No, I was saying that I know how you feel about Baltimore, but this is what I'm saying. That was a reactionary move to me, and now you're suspending the guy, and he don't really want to be there. No, we've been planning these moves out. These are strategic. I'm saying that Brett Veach is playing chess. He's not playing checkers. You feel me?
Absolutely.
And
Shut
that
up.
is a fact.
Shut up,
and that is a fact. Because look, I said it earlier in the show. I said, bro, Brett Veach has done everything possible to keep this thing afloat, and we're still 12-1. Like, he's worked the phones more than ever possibly. I know it's been a very long time since he had to work the phones quite a bit during the season.
No, he earned all his money this year. He like that that flex tape commercial where the dude in the boat and he just slapping tape on all of that's Brett Veach.
Basically.
No, Brett Veach, man, he deserves more respect. I think it's weird that Andy Reid and Brett Veach aren't mentioned, and I know Andy Reid's never going to get Coach of the Year, which is kind of weird. But I feel like Brett Veach should be mentioned along with what's my guy in Philly?
Harry Roseman.
Yeah, he should be in that conversation, shouldn't he?
GMs have their strengths and weaknesses, but and there are still weaknesses within Brett Veach. One that people try to harp on all the time is wide receiver. I think that Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are going to prove those people to be wrong. We still have to see if Kingsley's going to end up working out. That I believe that he's going to be given the opportunity to be a starter next year. We're going to see if that works out. I like him to be better as far as finding pass rushers complementary to Chris Jones. That's probably, for me, the biggest question mark that's left, because I do still believe in Kingsley's upside. So to me, I think that he excels in the big areas. The Trent McDuffie selection, the way he kind of has navigated the rebuilding of the offensive line. I know people are going to have the question about the tackles. Still, he navigated that effectively to rebuild that unit. He has tried to refresh the weapon room and do some unfortunate injuries that hasn't necessarily gone great. Mahomes has covered up some of that, certainly, but still, because of the offensive line, it's given him the chance to cover up some of those aspects. He rebuilt the defense after it was bad in 2018. He rebuilt it after it was, kind of iffy in 2021 as well. So those are the things I've seen him do that. So I still have the question mark as far as the pass rush is concerned. I like a little bit more athleticism on the back end in the safety room. We'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. But I truly do believe, there's no GM in the world that I would want other than him, because I think that he is good enough in the draft evaluation. He understands from a value trading standpoint generally. And I know people would be like, some of the later picks, yeah, it is what it is. And also, he understands that you have to be tireless in winning on the margins. And these free agent acquisitions, these trade acquisitions have shown that he is willing to do so and make sure that it ends up working out. So I'm very happy that he's the Chiefs GM, and I think that he is, a core XYZ member of what this dynasty has looked like.
Let me ask this question, and then Chuck, you got something else?
I was about to say, at the end of the day, man, when it comes to GM of the Year awards, Coach of the Year awards, we're gonna get penalized for that. We're gonna get penalized for that because we got Patrick Mahomes. It's simple as that.
True that.
Which, if you're going to penalize him, you for having Patrick Mahomes, maybe you should give him MVP. To me, because this team would not be anywhere near how good it is without him. And I know people would be like, Mahomes' play. since he got DeAndre Hopkins, he's been fine. He's been really good since he got DeAndre Hopkins. So, that's just how I look at it. I'm sorry to Chuck to cut you off, but yeah,
All right, can I ask a question? We can get out of here. Would you be willing, D-Mac, Chuck? Would you be willing to suck a year to improve this? To improve the team?
Listen, if we do this, if we get this 3-peat, bro, like I believe we're gonna be out the way for a little bit anyway. So I'll be pretty content for a little bit because I know we're gonna get back to
Pause. I thank you.
Wait,
Chris, because I didn't catch it. D-Mac didn't give me no indications of what I had just said.
I was gonna, because it's that video on Twitter of where they're doing the podcast and he's like, "Would you suck it?" And the dude immediately jumps in and is like, "Yeah." That's the first thing that comes to my head. So I was like, "Oh my god!"
D-Mac, you did put me on the you put me on the Jenkins and Jones. Them dudes are hilarious.
No, they are so funny. I'm sorry.
Would you be willing to be, because we have been picking at 30, 32 for 5, 6, 7 years. Would you be willing to be a top 15 team?
So I actually agree with Chuck. Like after this 3-peat, I mean, I don't think we won't 4. So like there's gonna be some level of step back. I want to beat the Patriots division record. So I don't want to lose the division the next 3 years. I want us to have 12 of those things so that we own that record. I want us to do 3-peat, obviously, so that we have something that they've never done. And obviously, I want to add more rings down the line. To me, the idea of bottoming out doesn't really make sense. We're in a good financial standpoint. We don't have a whole bunch of dead money like the Saints committed or void years, things like that, like the Eagles. We have our full allotment of draft picks. I know obviously we traded some of it to DeAndre Hopkins, but we got a Snead trade back. Veach understands how to keep the future vision of the team in purview while also making the moves necessary to continue to win. I feel good about our young talent. I think we can continue to add to that as well from that standpoint. So to me, I don't think you need to bottom out. I think that you found a place to operate in. I think that the biggest 2 things that I've continued to harp on is replacing Travis Kelce and replacing Chris Jones. I think that you are finding answers to replacing Travis Kelce and doing so. You have not found anything close to any type of answers as far as Chris Jones. So that's
you might have to change the way you play defense with Chris. Yeah, there is no Chris Jones. You might have to find a way to. You might have to just play a different version of defense after.
It absolutely is, but it's about in the same way that Travis Kelce is the way that you run the offense through Travis Kelce. That's what it's based upon. You run the defense through Chris Jones and what he determines from a pass protection standpoint from the offense. So you just got to find one of those pass rushers that gives you that same advantage and then build the pass rush around those guys too. So I think that you're finding the answers for Travis Kelce. I think you got to try and find the answers for Chris Jones, and it's not going to be easy. But look, the Rams built a pretty good defensive line, and one of those guys was a top 10 pick. Those guys are out there to be found. I think that you have the ability to. Brett Veach just has to answer the bell on that. But as far as your question, I don't think you need to bottom out. I don't think you do. I think that if it happens, and again, knock on wood, naturally one of these years that Mahomes gets hurt, kind of like the Patriots did, even though they didn't end up bottoming out, they still won. I think it was double-digit games with Castle, which paying them. It's one of those things. If that happens and you bottom out, okay, it is what it is. You don't have a choice. But I definitely wouldn't do it intentionally. I think that you are in a good position moving forward to continue to compete. And maybe there's some extra things that need to happen for you to get back to the title chase after you 3-peat, but you cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Would Mahomes let them? Would Mahomes let them bottom out though? That's another question.
If he's on the field, no.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that he wants to win it.
I just don't want to turn it to the Royals where they try to stretch it. One more year, we're gonna bring back Kane and Hosmer, and it just didn't. It was like, no, bro, it's time. But I'm sorry, Chuck. I interrupted.
Nah, you good. Yeah, man. I mean, Mahomes. Yeah, like D-Man said, as long as he's on the field, man, that man just wants to win at all costs. So, nah.
That's just he would not. Mahomes is not going to let them have a 500 year. I'm sorry. He's just not. He be cussing players out on the field, man. You think he losing it now? So, Chuck, you can take us.
But yeah, that's gonna conclude our episode tonight, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's on to the Cleveland Brownies. So yeah,
Jameis Winston, baby.
Famous Jameis, man.
I want a speech. I don't want him to win. I just want a good pregame speech.
I'm sure the pregame speech will be spectacular.
We are on the pale horse. We are riding the pale horse, son. We ready for war.
The soldiers
by the grace of God, son.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm confident they're gonna have a mic on him. I mean, they having a microphone on him ever since he got his starting job back because I mean he's that entertaining.
Yeah,
So,
bro.
I can't wait. No, he's gonna go ahead, Country.
No, I was gonna say low key, just mic him up on NFL films no. You're getting the mic, James.
Yeah, that's good production.
And just sell that as a DVD.
I can't wait. He's going to hit Najee Johnson in the face mask. He's going to hit Brian Cook in the chest. He's going to hit Nick Bolton in the ass on a wheel route down the sideline. That's going to be in a defensive pass interference. He's going to hit Justin Reed in the hands, and that's not going to be picked off. Maybe Derek Nadi will catch one after he drops out on the spag splits. We'll see what ends up happening.
Bro, I know people are gonna be begging for Trent McDuffie to finally get that one interception.
It's not gonna happen. And you know what? I guarantee Trent McDuffie doesn't pick off Jameis Winston. And I hope I'm so wrong.
I would not be surprised.
Bro, I wouldn't even be shocked. I believe he'll have a clear one and will knock it down. I don't think he want an interception. I'm so serious, bro. Trent don't even try for intercept. Never mind, bro. You trying to start a whole thing, D-Mac. You trying to start something, bro. And I ain't riding with you on this one, bro. I ain't doing it.
All right,
Trent definitely don't want no interception, bro.
Oh, by the way, speaking of teams ruining draft position, the Bengals won on what was a hilarious Cowboys block punt that somehow turned into the Bengals getting the ball. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my goodness, good Lord!
Why are the Bengals trying to win? Y'all need. Never mind.
Yeah. So that being said, man, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share all the social media platforms. Till the next episode, we out, Chiefs Kingdom.
See y'all in Cleveland.
Peace.
Cleveland rocks. Ohio.